is officially a good afternoon, exactly 12 o'clock, and a very warm welcome to our spotlight session. We've had a couple of very interesting sessions and a very dynamic panel before us, and now we're going to talk about a topic that really matters a lot, which is women at the helm, driving business growth for India Incorporated. I'm Devapriya Khanna, the founder and CEO of Connexus Global, a company that works with women-founded organizations and helps them accelerate primarily in the India-UK corridor, but really helps female-led businesses to go global. A lot of women are driving business growth in India, but encouraging them to get out of the pond they're in and literally tap into the huge global transformation that the pandemic has brought forth for us. And delighted to be chairing this here. As we gather here today, it's important to recognize the significant strides that women leaders across various sectors have made in driving innovation, driving growth, driving positive change across the whole country and beyond. And we're delighted that today we have a change maker like that with us, Ms. Sonika Malhotra, and she is the Joint Managing Director of the very dynamic MBD Group. In a short while, you'll know why she's the right person to be able to be under the spotlight and in the hot seat for this discussion today. But before we begin, I want to, ask all of you, show of hands, how many of you are entrepreneurs here? How many of you are founders, business owners? Show of hands, please. Okay, so you really, you really empathize with the struggles of and the challenges of being a bootstrapped founder, struggling to sort of, integrate work and home, keep yourselves motivated, wake up, make a fresh start every morning, knowing that, you're at the helm alone, right? Sounds familiar? Everyone's story? A lot has gone at the background today for you to come here and show up, right? Yeah, I hear you, sisters. I mean, we're all in this together. How many of you are working for organizations, employed for organizations? Anybody? A lot of you here. So I'm sure at times you envy the flexibility, freedom, and the creativity of founders. Do you? Let's be honest, you do? So, what if I told you that it's possible to have it all? An entrepreneur is someone who actually has it all. In my 18 years of working with some of the top-notch organizations, and I was just talking to Sonika about it before, over a cup of coffee, I've actually had the luxury of being able to launch some iconic brands, be a startup person, but under the whole ecosystem of huge brands and deep, deep pockets. Now that I'm an entrepreneur, no longer so, but the learnings have held us in great stead. So do you know who an entrepreneur is? Anybody? Who's an entrepreneur? Sorry? A lot like you. So an entrepreneur is really, an employee of an organization who thinks and acts like an entrepreneur, right? But drives innovation and is responsible for sort of turning ideas into profitable ventures for that organization. And that is really going to be the thrust of our conversation here today, where we're going to talk about entrepreneurship and how, having an entrepreneurial mindset, you do tend to really think a lot about, you have these amazing ideas and you want to do everything, but then you also know that you have to keep an eye on profitability and sustainability. Sounds familiar, right? So in a minute, we'll head over to Sonika, and again, you'll know why I've set up this whole stage and backdrop for this conversation, because she embodies entrepreneurship. At the same time, she's driving a huge empire, I would say. So without further delay, Sonika, amazing to have you here. And from what we chatted about, a bit in the background, and from what I've read up about you, you had an amazing journey. So would you be able to talk to us about some of the key milestones and the challenges that came in this journey?
Well, thank you very much, Devapriya, for your kind words of appreciation. It really means the world. And in fact, I would say it's a mutual admiration club. We had a great chat behind the scenes, and it was lovely hearing what she's done and how she's going about things. And with such commitments at the background, still she's here, and we're chatting up. Uh, as you know, MBD Group is into education. We are one of the larger education companies. We diversified into hotels, retail developments, commercial office spaces, etc. Uh, I joined the business when I was already married. In fact, I got married when I was only 19 years of age, which is when I was in second year of college. And the biggest thing that came in everybody's mind, and we're two daughters of a father, that अब तो MBD group देखते हैं अब कैसे मल्होत्रा साहब चलाएंगे. This was one of the biggest conceptions that prevailed that time. And I guess inherently I've been one who loved breaking conceptions and the misconceptions that people have in their mind. And I was very fond of education. I am. I love being a learner all my life. And the biggest conception that I broke in my second year of college, I topped my college. Third year again, I topped my college. And in the entire Delhi University, I was amongst the top 10. And people like, oh my God. That was one of the best, things that, okay, I broke the stereotypes for people. One, you're a girl, you're married, and wrap up your bags. Business is not meant for you. It was not a difficult time, but it was a challenge I love taking, and that's probably, as a personality, I feel that it is something that I inherit from my mother and my father both, and I want to take that forward. When I joined business, people say you've got a platter in front of you, your father has built up everything, it's very easygoing. But believe you me, when a girl joins business, the first thing is, ye time pass karne aayi hai. And I'm sure if you think Hindi is not something that people understand, I can switch only to English or whatever you are comfortable with. Ye to time pass karne aayi hai. But team and organization is far more intelligent than what you think that they are. They're far more intelligent. Within 6 months, they knew that time pass to nahi karne aayi hai.
Yes, give a round of applause for that. Here's to breaking more stereotypes and making things happen.
Yeah, so it was a fun for me, again a challenge, and I love breaking that stereotype. And thankfully, as you say, entrepreneur and entrepreneur, I was an entrepreneur, I would say that time, because being an education company, we were about 30 years old, 30, 35 years old that time. We'd just diversified into hotels. And for me, it was a big challenge that MBD was diversifying from education to hotels. We had no knowledge, not even a single bit of knowledge, and building up the entire blocks from there was so much fun. That was another stereotype, that we broke, and, from diversification. And so, there are a lot of things, and for me, and I'm sure a lot of women out there, you know what the stereotype are, and you have fun in breaking those sometimes, and, and sometimes you fail as well, which is not a big deal. You don't need to take a setback. You need to reorient yourself, what went wrong, what was the issues. Take help. We shouldn't be in that ego, ki, as a woman, I need to prove myself. I need to take help from women, men out there, because no organization can be run by one single woman or one single man. So go out of that sphere also when you're proving yourself correct or wrong, that you need help of people. It is the team who makes you successful or breaks you at the end of the day. So that was a fun part, and I enjoyed it. And thankfully, by God's grace and mentorship of my father and mother and my sister as well, that, have been successful in at least 6 out of 10, if not more.
I think some golden nuggets out there. And I just love how you say that it's fun in breaking stereotypes. I'm also a person who has a lot of fun breaking stereotypes, because what is it about this whole gender thing? We're doing the work of men. And I always say that gender diversity is not about activism. It's just about plain pure economics, it makes sense. If you know, if you want India to really grow at 9%, 10% over the next 3 decades, you need to promote women entrepreneurship. You need more women to be job creators. It's as simple as that. So amazing that you really stepped up to the role amidst a very tragic situation, nonetheless, but you were able to take up the helms. And I can understand when you say something like, you know, people said, what's going to happen to this group now that the father's gone? But I think you and your sister have really stepped up to the task, and you've taken it to the next level. So really kudos for that. We are two sisters. My dad is 76 and he's still working full time. And we keep telling him that, you know, calm down, relax now, you know, enough, you've done enough. He started when he was 21 and he's 76. He says that I'll wrap up when I finally get a call from up there. So who are we to stop him? So each to his own, and I think such strong role models in fathers and mothers are very, very important for all of us. So it's not about only driving the woman agenda, it's also about having a lot of male allies and asking men to take a seat at our table, because unless it's holistic, it's not going to work out. And I see a lot of men here, which is amazing. I think Anurag Batra is also a big male ally, and we need more and more people to talk about all this. So, you know, if we look at a slightly macro level, and Sonika, I know you said that this is a slightly broader question, but let's just go there a little bit. Globally, globally, women's contribution to the global GDP is about 45%, but in India, women contribute to about 22%. There is a gap, but it's also an opportunity. So, Sonika, let me ask you, what is it, you know, what do you think are some of the significant opportunities that women leaders in India can play to contribute to the economic development of our country? Little macro, but I mean, how do you see that playing out in your experiences?
I think it's about creating an ecosystem that, you know, if women join an organization at various helms, there is an ecosystem created to understand their issues. But it shouldn't be voicing it so loud that it inhibits men joining the organization as well. And that's what I feel. There is also, you know, like for instance, in our organization, and also because it's led by two women, we try and create an ecosystem that the women are given a level playing ground with that of men. It's not a stereotype that agar finance hai, so it'll be only led by a man, and we think that they will have more accruement. And if it is housekeeping, it'll be led only by a woman. So those stereotypes don't exist in our organization, at least. It's a level playing ground. Even the men can, you know, come into and venture departments which are not meant for them. They think it's not meant for them. That's one. And creating a sense of, you know, security of working in the organization. You know, there are times that you're working late hours. You know, the women need to feel comfortable that the need drops back home, you know. It's a simple thing, but if we do little things, it attracts people because they feel it's secure working in an organization. A lot of organizations do it, and a lot of them don't do it either. And plus, you know, the biggest ecosystem that you can create, being a woman, you're leading from the front. You know, we are vocal about our issues, and it's not that we're embarrassed that there are certain issues at home, and, you know, we need to tackle that and yet excel in our jobs. So right from HR to the heads of departments to the CEO of verticals, they are trained into being empathetic. Now that training is something a lot of people don't do it in a structured manner. You know, we do training on probably hard skills, and soft skills are done, but that's more on to probably customer handling, grievous handling, etc. But in terms of empathy, are we able to empathize? You know, as a woman, you have come, your baby was crying at home, and yet you had to be here. Do I empathize with you? Okay, you came in half an hour late. No, you know, our check-in, check-out time is such. So you have to be a bit empathetic. And yet women have to also understand that they will not get brownie points all the time. So that is also there in our organization, which is there. We empathize, we create a level playing ground, but yet it's not a brownie point for women that they get a preference in certain things over men all the time. Otherwise, I'm inhibiting even men to join my organization. So, that's how, it's a simple, but yet it's a very concrete way of putting things across.
And it's true. One has to really tread a fine line between not overdoing the whole woman thing, especially when you're two strong women at the helm. It shouldn't, it has to be a good balance. And what you said is very correct. It's like a lot of times women also play the victim card. Let's not do that. We're not victims. We're all victors out here. So just quickly moving over to discussing a bit about entrepreneurship. Sonika, you run a very entrepreneurial organization. What is your take on entrepreneurship within your organization, and how do you nurture entrepreneurial talent?
In today's date and time where competition is so severe, we have to create entrepreneurs in the organization. And some of them are born to be, and some of them are motivated to be. From simple things today, it is quite a talked about word, is you head P&Ls. You don't head units per se. There was a time and date wherein the general managers of hotels didn't even know how to read P&Ls. Right? What was EBITDA? What was, the EBITDA of a hotel? EBITDA, what does that mean? So you train people into understanding what P&Ls are, and each person is then driven across right from the top to the bottom of the pyramid to understand how they are contributing to the P&L. And then you create incentive and motivational structures to achieve that P&L. It could be as simple as probably, doing incentive structures, probably, let's say, you are taking a more ADR-driven kind of a route in a hotel, just taking a very simple example. You are incentive the front office that at the time of check-in, you are doing upselling. Those front office associates themselves are acting as entrepreneurs in the organization because an increase in ADR is helping me jack up my top line and the rooms division profitability, and then thereby the EBITDA. That's a simple example, all right? And then there are bigger examples which a lot of organizations follow, and we are also going to be following in one of our verticals, is creating ESOPs in the organization. Every employee is having an ESOP depending upon what level and grade and responsibility you're having. That again is towards creating entrepreneurs, because they feel that if they do creative and interesting stuff out of the box thinking, which help the betterment of the P&L and the growth of the company, they also benefit. So there is an alignment of interest that happens. So there are various ways and means you do it, through incentives, through ESOPs. It could also be through just basic training about understanding how everything that you do affects the P&L. There are also creating probably, focus groups in the organization, because I said some people are born to be entrepreneurs. I can't train a person to be an entrepreneur because I can train a bit, but not as much. I can align them, but I cannot 100% align them. There could be a focus groups which becomes a focus group that people look up to. There are success examples which are talked about in the organization, and people get excited. Wow, that was a success. This is what happened to that particular person. There are examples in our organization, people joined as packers, in the education. And there are interesting examples, they've come on the board as executive directors. There are focus groups that are created which talk about victories, talks about failures, agitating the issues of failure, and also becoming brand ambassadors to create that kind of sense of entrepreneurship. These are a few examples that, we follow in the organization. And there are very many things that you can do. There's no end to it, actually.
Thanks so much for sharing your story with us, and it's been very insightful. That takes a lot for people to show up the way all of you have, and the way you have, leaving, she was telling me how her son chose just today of all days to play up and want mama, right? And it was difficult for her to break away. Everyone's stories, I mean, we can all relate to that. So I feel that, if you can see it, you can be it. So we need more strong role models. We need to have more of these conversations so that the future leaders of India Incorporated can get motivated, get inspired, and know that nothing is impossible, that a woman can have it all. Maybe not all at the same time, but yeah, we women can have it all. And we need more people like Sonika who's walking the talk and showing that it's possible. So Sonika, before we let you go, why don't you tell the audience one fun fact about you, which not too many people know about.
Fun fact.
Wouldn't you want to know?
So if you enter a meeting with me, of course, a lot of people say that I look very intimidating, and because I've graduated in finance, I've studied at Harvard as well, she's going to be a very strong personality there, and we need to know what we want to talk. But believe you me, in that hour of meeting, you will have that 5 minutes of laughter and fun and jokes, which, I think they take back, that next time it's going to be far more fun working and, deliberating with Sonika. Because for me, the biggest energy I get is sitting with the team of people and deliberating ideas and coming up with a decision which is far better than what I singularly thought could have been done. And so my meetings are not as boring as probably I look. So that's probably one of the things that you could know.
Good. Glad to know that. I mean, of course, I knew, I got a glimpse about it, but glad that everybody else knows. Over to you. I think if anyone has a question for Sonika or for me or in general on the topic, happy to handle that. The buzzer is going to go anytime soon. The next panel is lining up there on that note. So I think we've done pretty well on timing. Thank you so much for everything that you've shared and for everything that you do as a woman leader. Like I said, if you can see it, you can be it. And I'm sure you've inspired a lot of people here today. Thank you, lovely audience, for your questions. And it's been great interacting. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Devpriya. It's absolutely a pleasure. And believe you me, I feel I'm still at the bottom of the ladder. And, coming and talking here, it's highly motivating for me. And I think I feel gives me the motivation for a bigger inning ahead. Thank you very much. And thanks for being so patient to hear to me. Thank you.